Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. We have got a lot to do today. And the first thing is we need to expand power resources. And the reason we need to do that is because we are 12 weeks away from developing radio. And we are going to need to switch our electrics industries. Where are they? Our electrics industries over to producing radios. And to do that, we're going to need a lot of power. So, Toledo and Navarra, those are the places. Let's take a quick look at how local energy prices are. Okay, Toledo's looking good, but we're going to need at least 4 more levels of power plants to produce the amount of power we need. Navarra, here, local prices are actually way out of control. In fact, we're going to need an additional 6 levels to produce the amount of power we're going to need when we make that change. Are we building all these at once? It looks like no. So, we're going to tick the stuff in Bali down to the bottom. And that'll make sure that these get built as fast as they reasonably can. Now, next thing, I want to start bringing in oil from Japan. Oil has pretty good... Japan has pretty good oil resources. So we'll go ahead and do that. Japan, give me all that tasty, tasty oil. And what we're going to do to support that is oil. There's oil in the ground in Chubu. I don't think there's oil anywhere else in the ground in Japan, if I recall correctly, but there's decent resources in Chubu. So, what we're going to do is we're going to max those out. And in order to support that, because their infrastructure is only moderate, we're going to build a couple of railways. So, I'm going to throw these paper mills and all the oil rigs that I just did at the bottom. And what that means is that by the time these railways get built, construction efficiency is rough. But that's okay. By the time these railways get built, we'll be starting to finish on oil rigs, and that'll be fine. And the reason we need that is because we need to be able to go to siege artillery, which we are not currently able to go to on account of we don't have any radios. And the thing we're going to be doing that with is we're going to be taking another run at the Ottoman Empire. We've got a kind of uniquely feasible option right now because of this whole situation with Bulgaria. The Ottoman Empire is a little smaller than it usually is, and we can take it as a protectorate for a lot less infamy than we'd normally be forced to. So, in order to accomplish that, I'm gonna kind of do something a little... Am I gonna do something sneaky? No, I think I'm gonna wait until the end of this war, because I'm gonna need to demobilize the units anyway. Well, I'll only need to demobilize the... I'll only need to demobilize the artillery units, so maybe I'll get conscription going now, and then I'll be ready. It's going to be a significant cost, but I think it's going to be worth it. So, big thing first of all is I'm going to expand conscription in the Royal Guard. I think that's just reasonable. So let me see, we've got currently a 14.9.5 pattern. Let's just go up to 15.10. 5 just to make sure that that's reasonable, and then we'll just double it, I think. So there's 1. So that makes us 30 infantry. Then we'll do 25 additional units of artillery. 5, 10, 15. Alright, so that'll be just fine. I don't think we need that many Lancers. Those are early game units. So that should be fine. Now, do I start my conscription right away? I think the answer is I do. And this is going to cost us a boatload of money. But if we play our cards right, we'll be able to get what we want without too many problems. I'm not going to start conscripting for these secondary forces yet. We'll do that later. And this will give us a good head start. So we need to keep an eye on this diplomatic play. We need to keep an eye on our current war, which we do need to win, but which we will win. And I need to make sure that my... too many artillery... Gouache! Gouache! Alright, so we'll throw more... We'll throw more infantry in here. Oh, this is peak gameplay. You know what? We'll start our earliest conscription from Portuguese core areas. Hire the infantry, you fool. Oh man, if this goofs up on account of... Actually, wait. I can get around this problem by raising the other conscripts, and then they're going to flow into that army because the system is wonky. Oh my gosh, I'm so smart and cool. Alright, so we're about getting to the point where we can get what we want over here. How close are we to radio here? 4 weeks? Ugh, we're cutting it real close. I'm actually going to wait and hope they don't capitulate, because if they capitulate, this plan of mine is going to look silly. Ooh, we got our new mandate. Days. I think I'm gonna do it. Alright, so make Protectorate. Obviously Austria is gonna move in, but no one else is gonna stop me. And we've already got our conscription started, so let's do it. Alright, that puts this front here. I'm gonna add war reparations and a ban slavery CB. And I'm going to add those to the primary. And do I want to add any other war goals? I don't think so. So, let's take the Royal Guard and put them on the front. We'll take the Iberian Expeditionary Force and we'll put them on the front. Gives us a little bit of a shortage of convoys, but we need to get this power going. So we'll build up some port facilities basically wherever we can. Let's build up some secondary areas. Areas that don't have huge port facilities to begin with. Alright, so that's going to put a delay in all that other stuff, but that's just what's going to have to happen. We'll put the power in first, because again, we need that for our thing, and hopefully we can make this happen. Alright, so now that we're in another diplomatic play, I can safely end this war. Beautiful. And that makes the Sunda Isles mine. I can pass those to Bali at an appropriate time. Obviously this is giving me a bunch of infamy, but that's okay. And we're going to see if Austria seems extremely likely to combine with them. Boom, there's the radio. Excellent. So, next we will go to Electrics Industries. We'll hit radio production. That will be nothing right now, but we will upgrade all units, and that will create demand for the radios, and hopefully the power resources that exist will be sufficient enough to produce the radios that are needed. Our secondary armies we're going to keep back at home. I think I am... Austria sides the Ottomans. Alright, so that's not a shocker. I think I will actually throw some additional infantry units into the Royal Guard. And a few more artillery as well. Alright. That should be fine. So those units will mobilize. Ooh, we've been double fronted. Alright, that's not ideal. Let's go ahead and put the Iberian Expeditionary Force up there. We'll see if Austria's troops wind up there. So what is Austria primarily using? They're primarily using line and skirmish infantry, although they do have shrapnel artillery. So I'm actually feeling a lot more confident than I was a minute ago. Ooh, Nordestino mass immigration. Excellent. I said Nordestino before, but there's not actually that accent marker. on there. I'm just going to swap these. I think that the Ottoman Empire is going to be much less effectively defended than the one over here. Because I think the Ottomans are actually genuinely quite weak. No one else is really interested in getting into this. Is there anything else that I want to steal? I kind of would love to steal these areas. Make myself an Iraq. I often do that. Let me see. These are Basra, Baghdad, Mosul, and Deir ez-Zor. Do I dare to? Am I terrible at this? What's going on? Basra, Baghdad, Mosul, Deir ez-Zor. Oh my goodness, should I not have an interest? I don't have an interest. Dang. Okay, I can't break off Iraq, but I might be able to. I'll be able to do it later. Alright, so if I want conquest CBs, let me see, Albania. You are a multiculturalist country. Well, I suppose if I take Thessalia and Selenik, that'll just make you stronger. So maybe we'll just grab those areas. Let's see, it's 3.7. This is not that much infamy, friends. I think we're gonna do it. I say as I make my infamy even worse. The duel. Pascual de Sousa Coutinho has challenged Feliz Villar to a duel to the death. The aura surrounding the two figures is like something out of a romantic novel. Feliz Villar smiles. He's been rehearsing this moment before falling asleep. Pascual de Sousa Coutinho, you are a foolish fool. Your insults cannot go unanswered. Pick a weapon of choice and we shall meet tomorrow. Let them fight! Okay, let's hope I didn't goof up any of my armies. Okay, Coastal Defense Force, I can live with that army goofed up. Let's throw an intelligentsia guy in there. And we need one more guy. We'll put this shell-shocked guy in here. Oh gosh, that's such a bad. We'll put this industrialists guy in there. He'll be fine. The industrialists are mostly not a problem. I should figure out where the Armada is. Alright. We're going to put the Armada here. Blocking all access to trade for both of these countries. And we don't have any more fleet commanders. So, let me see. Anybody here a convoy raider? Doesn't look like it. We'll put you on convoy raiding. Give you a little promotion. Just so that you're splitting forces evenly. And that should be just fine from a fleet's perspective. Alright. Let's get unpaused here. It's going to be a big war, and I want to win it. Iberian Expeditionary Force, please don't goof up your organization too bad. Alright, so... if I take chunks of... What if I just conquered Montenegro as well? .6. It would put me over my infamy maximum, but only a little. We'll do it. We'll do it. I can definitely steal that. Alright. So, and this will give them worse fort protection, but not if I can take this territory, which I think I can. And we still got plenty of conscripts mobilizing into the expeditionary force, so I think if Austria continues to be dysfunctional, although they've got a lot of troops over here, so maybe I'm biting off more than I can chew here, but I think I can do it. I think I can do it. Because I want them to win against Bulgaria before this pops off, because then I'll get this territory as well. But if I don't, it wouldn't be a huge tragedy. And that's looking more and more likely, because they got 80% occupation right here. Alright. So, that war is finished, so let's see what that does to the front. Alright, alright. 57, still pretty good. 52, still pretty good. A lot of troops going... Okay, we got a large force going somewhere. Looks like they're going to this front. Nope, they're going to the other front. Alright, alright. Well, I guess we're going to put the main force over by Austria. This is going to be silly for a second, but it's going to be great later. Alright, perfect. Perfect. Alright. Ooh, no, that's not what I wanted. I had them where I wanted them. Heck! Oh, man! Oh, this is, oh, I'm such a good war leader right now. Alright, so, Royal Guard, we're going to put you on defense for now. And our cash flow is doing super duper rough, so what we're going to do is convoys are okay right now. I'm going to pause construction. And we're going to see what that does to the budget. Ottoman Empire backs down. Excellent. So that means we should get all of our primary war goals. Yes, it worked. They're a protectorate now. Excellent. Whew. We did it. Alright, so right now, let's demobilize our main armies. We'll set the Royal Guard back to advance. We didn't get to steal any territory, but we got what we needed to get. So that's okay. I'm going to demobilize. So this is the Royal Guard and the Expeditionary Force I need to demobilize as well. So then these are the only armies that are fully active. So I'm just going to go ahead and move the Interior Defense Force to Mexico. And I'm going to do the same for the Territorial Army. We'll keep the Coastal Defense Force in Iberia. And that will be that. And these costs will persist for another few whatevers, but it won't be too bad. Whew! I did it. I'm going to get building again. This is great. Oh, so good at video games. Alright, so, Ottoman Empire obviously is furious due to the bad relations and my infamy. But, you know, there's only so much they're going to be able to do about that. So, I am feeling pretty good. Because if they try to wage a war, it'll be an offensive war. And that they won't get Austrian help then, I tell you what. Or they shouldn't. Japanese national movement organizes in Navarra. Organizers affiliated with the Japanese national movement have embarked on a focused campaign to inspire support for multiculturalism in Navarra. Residents of every region in the world like to say that their home has a long and unique history of tight-knit community. The organizer almost agreed. The problem, of course, was that said community often did not extend to outsiders. He'd been thrown out in his ear more times than he could count, but he persisted nonetheless. If he could introduce the right phrase into the right circles, perhaps even an idea that had been rejected out of hand at first would begin to find purchase. There are plenty of willing ears in Navarra, stronger movement. Navarra gets extra pop strength and increased radicals from political movements, or they must be concerned with far more grounded things. The movement does not get stronger in half the other modifiers. I'm going to go with the second one. Anti-American League offers opportunity. The Anti-American League has offered us an opportunity to establish a foreign investment rights agreement with Brazil. The proposal, if accepted, is intended to counter American interests. It was a veiled sort of aggression, one which could in theory appeal to both ardent jingoists and those who preferred to mitigate losses. It would force the enemy to respond, possibly drive them towards reckless confrontation in response to a seemingly benign maneuver. A plan to fight the United States of America to the last Brazilian, one minister remarked. The representative flushed. He had practiced responses along both lines, but none of them had quite fit. He'll be happy to pursue this. Adds lobby opportunity. This is not in our interest. I'm going to take the opportunity for now. Let's see. I'm still working on getting Japan into the power block, and we're getting leverage, but it's not going as fast as I would like. Obviously, costs are high on account of these concepts are raised, but they're not raising, which is weird, but it is what it is. We got another Hell on Earth event. I'm going to say the perpetrators will pay for their crimes once again. You see how this works? When you create a hell on Earth, you tell them the perpetrators will pay for their crimes. Does that stop the crimes? Maybe. Ah. Man, it looks like Orissa's going to lose its war, but it's going to keep its independence. And that's what's good. Ooh, electrical capacitors. Excellent. That will allow us to produce more textiles, which would be really, really nice. Automatic bottle blower spreading. Okay. Protect, we're working on steam turbine and electric railways. That's gonna go great. There's an Anahuacan uprising popping off. Force comparisons are looking absolutely rock solid. Actually, let's put the Armada back to port, because I can replace these monitors with... No, I don't have... I do have sea lane strategies. No, I don't have sea lane strategies yet. Never mind. I'll do sea lane strategies eventually. British Congo colonized Lualaba. Very, I don't even know where that is. Here, perhaps? Not sure. Not sure at all. Alright. War is going just fine in Mexico. These Anahuacan uprisings are kind of an ongoing problem for Mexico. Not sure. Oh, Nahua. That's the culture that's the culture of the people who are rising up here. I see. So these are not necessarily Nahua majority areas, except for Zacatecas, which definitely is. What about Durango and Rio Grande? Not Rio Grande, surely. No. Interesting. In any case, we're keeping the integrity of Mexico. So interesting. So they backed down. We didn't lose the infamy from claiming these states, which is interesting. I did not expect them to back down this time. But, of course, once their attitude's a little better, I'll be able to just steal those states, and that'll be fine. Obviously, their economic dependence on us is growing. I can increase that by building it. But I don't... Okay, so there is oil capacity in Basra already. Oh, interesting. Usually with an uprising, they need to be completely occupied. But, yeah, I'll accept, sure. I'm delighted with the war a little early. So, with oil flowing into our coffers... Yeah, there we go. We're bringing in a lot of oil. Mostly from America, actually. That's interesting. Sort by resources. Is the American oil import route productive? It's someone else's oil import route. I don't have any control over it. That's interesting. That's very interesting. So if we go to brine electrolysis, that will make our explosives factories more productive, but I need to make sure I've got oil, got power in the locations. We're all reasonably spread out here, except for Valencia. How much more power is it? It's 2 power plants worth in Valencia. So, let's quickly check prices. Power is expensive. Yeah, I'm gonna need more power plants. Gosh. 3, really, since demand seems to be up. Let's go ahead and switch over to brine electrolysis for my explosives factories. I can definitely find markets abroad for my explosives. And reducing the cost of those is significant. Russia will buy oodles of bombs. I love it. France will buy bombs as well. Wunderbar. They love their cheap bombs in Europe. Get waging a war to reduce Burmese autonomy. Brother, do it through the Overlord interface. What's wrong with you? Revolution in Delhi. Oh, it's just in a subject state here. So, Orissa. What's going on? How are things going? Let's be friends. You're a new great power. I'm a very, very old great power. I was a great power a really, really long time. Let's be friends. A good vintage. The wine produced in Beira has been lauded by sommeliers as outstanding. When people say that something ages like wine, they don't always make the distinction between wine and wine. So let me make that distinction. If you can get your hands on a bottle from Beira, that bottle can be more than just a good time. It can be an investment. I'm going to make this an exclusive product for export, as always. Wine is never expensive in our market. In fact, it's almost always near the bottom. Very cheap. So I don't need to produce more wine. Producing more wine is not going to be useful to me. Bali is almost up to cordial, which is nice. We got an election, and we got overly enthusiastic partisans going. Looks like the parties are about distributed as they've been. Overly enthusiastic partisans, supporters of the Patriotic Union, have gone beyond simply campaigning for their own party, harassing and sometimes physically attacking opposing partisans. I'm a simple party man, that's all. I know what I like, I know what I don't like, and I know I want my people to win, and I want their people to lose. Crackdown on Patriotic Union activities, minus 10% momentum, or let them continue unmolested, weaker and angrier intelligentsia. I'm going to go with the second one. Patriotic Union is our ruling party at the moment, so yeah, we'll let them get away with crimes. What could go wrong? Looks like we got a lot of excess bureaucracy available, so I could do a tick down in government size, and I think that might be the right call. If I go to covered markets, this will increase the cost in glass and power in all my areas. Is that going to be smart? We are producing plenty of glass, so that's going to be worth it. We're producing an amount of power. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, we do have some electricity shortages in a bunch of different areas. So we're going to need to deal with that. But first, fruitful endorsements. In a gesture of solidarity with the Patriotic Union, Miguel Oyarzabal has encouraged his supporters, to vote for it in the ongoing election. Woo! Look at that line read. For the interest of all principled people, the Patriotic Union has a consistent record of excellence. I cannot speak higher of those brave men and women moving Iberia forwards under their name. He has our thanks, certainly, a ton of momentum, or his endorsement would best be more specific. Less momentum, but stronger rural folk. I'm going to go with the second one, actually. Because if I can make the rural folk more of a force in this party, they can be doing better. Alright, so, Asturias, Catalonia, Castile, and Valencia. We're already building up the ones in Valencia. So, Asturias. Power plants can't hire, we'll subsidize. Castile. Is this not one of the places I built up? No. Alright, what are prices looking like? We need 3 more levels of power plants, so let's build them. Castile and Catalonia. What are the prices looking like? We need 2 more levels. So we'll throw those at the top of the queue as well. I am going to build up this oil in Chubu. Actually, I've built up quite a bit of it already, but I keep giving priority to other things happening in my core territory. So the one in Asturias, I just subsidize. What does demand look like? Demand is not high. Alright, so as long as I keep that power plant subsidized, it'll overproduce a little bit and cost the government some money, but it'll be fine. Alright. Production and agitation. In collaboration with the Patriotic Union, Diogo Freire de Andrade has secured a deal for cheap and quickly distributed pamphlets in support of the party. The interior of the carriage held a pleasant surprise, a crate of several thousand pamphlets printed on an industrial scale, each with instructions on the voting process and a cheaply copied logo of the Patriotic Union. They made a hefty weight, and he hoped would turn out to be an equally sized benefit. Bury our opponents in a sea of paper, 20% momentum, or these connections can be used later. He gets ambitious 10% momentum. Who are you? You're the leader of the armed forces and a Republican. I'll just say bury our opponents in a sea of paper. I don't want to make that guy ambitious. He's a Republican. And it's been a good almost century under the rule of Empress Isabel de Bourbon, and I don't see any reason to muck with a formula that's working. So that's my perspective. That's kind of where I'm at. All right, I was reducing the size of the government. Oh my goodness, a radical revolt in Scandinavia, and they're doing a communism. They are doing a communism. Golly. So we got another little by little event. I'm going to do the same thing I always do. This is the exploiting the Amazon special event. I'm just going to say we shall make Iberians of them yet. Do I have the capacity to hit that button? Not yet. And the reason is because I don't have sufficient... I do have a sufficiently sized urban center, but I don't have enough rubber plantation capacity. So that event's just going to kind of be going on forever at this point. Rubber discovered in Yucatan. Oh, excellent. That's good. How is rubber doing in our market? Rubber is... actually pretty cheap. I know everybody wants rubber. Prussia, you want rubber. Interesting. And election's about to pop off. Ottoman Empire is obviously pretty salty. But, you know, if they ask for more autonomy, we'll say no. Anything I can do to... I'm not going to give them a state. I think that's a fool's errand. Got pretty high legitimacy. I could support their regime. Let's give them knowledge sharing. Give them knowledge sharing, and we'll support their regime as well. Our legitimacy has never been higher. British Congo has taken notice of our colony in Iberian South Cameroon and attempted to enforce their claim on the region by demanding we cede the colony to them. The British Congolese have a tendency towards the theoretical, don't they? Whereas Iberian people have always been pragmatic. We saw an opportunity and took it. Now we must suffer the whining of those who would rather talk about which opportunities they plan to take in the future and begrudge us what is already ours. Unfortunately, the whining is growing quite loud. What does a claim matter when we got there first? This gives us a bunch of infamy, or a simple misunderstanding they shall have it, they steal it. Interesting. So this is Fernando Po. So here's my question. How many Iberian people live here? 2,000? Take it. I do not care. It's not even sort of core territory. Tripolitanian nihilist revolt. That's interesting. They're being backed by the British. I guess that makes sense. The Tripolitanians, not the nihilist revolt. Alright, so we got our election done. That's nice. And we got control over the Ottoman Empire. Yeah, I'm going to support the regime. And again, my goal is I should have done this stuff earlier, but that's okay. We're just trying to slow up their gaining of liberty desire. In fact, I think the smarter thing to do is start working on oil rigs. Because that's going to give them entanglement with our economy. There's for sure a number of an amount of infrastructure able to be supported. I lose my interest in Congo, but that's really okay. Sea lane strategies is spreading. That's wonderful. And alright, that's about the middle of the year, and that's all the time we got for this episode, my nerds. I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I'll see you on the other side.